The standard that I'm unpacking today is from the Common Core State Standards Initiative. It's the English Language Standard for Reading, Informational Text for grades 9 through 10. I chose this particular standard because right now, in my English 9C class, we're working on the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a non-fiction text that is concerned with the outliers of society. He questions what it means to be successful and whether the classic symptoms of what we consider success are really what make it happen. He thinks many people who are considered successful were in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. The standard that I chose to focus on is under the subtitle Craft and Structure. It says, determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including figurative, connotative, and technical meanings. This standard can be unpacked in 3 ways. First, determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including figurative meanings. Second, determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including connotative meanings. And third, determine the meanings of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including technical meanings. The second part of the standard says, analyze the cumulative impact of specific word choices on meaning and tone. In parentheses, e.g., how the language of a court opinion differs from that of a newspaper. This can then be broken down into 2 parts. Analyze the cumulative impact of specific word choices on meaning, and analyze the cumulative impact of specific word choices on tone. The big idea behind the standard is to define and analyze the author's word choices with a detailed emphasis on structure and how it displays the author's perspective. To show how the students are processing the text of the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, I created a worksheet for the introduction. This worksheet breaks down the text bit by bit and forces the students to clearly understand what is going on in the book. I try to ask the type of questions that they can only find in the text, not necessarily from a summary or an online source. Here is one example of a question. In the small town of Roseto, Pennsylvania, they discovered that not many people under the age of 65 have heart disease. At the time, in 1961, this was very unusual and did not correspond with the health statistics of the rest of the U.S. Stuart Wolf decided to do a study of the town so he could find some answers. What were the 4 things that Wolf did as a preliminary study to assess the health of the town? I gave the students an introduction so that they know exactly where to go in the text to find the answer. By giving them a little bit of a hint of where they need to go, they are more likely to go to the text itself. This can help them clarify their thoughts a little when dealing with technical terms. Then the next 2 questions make them look at the text even more closely. By having them find the elements that were not a factor in the town's good health, and then determining those things that were a factor in the town's good health, the reader has to understand the meaning of what is going on and then the inverse of that meaning. This way, the author clarifies his point of view even further by showing what it is and what it is not. Overall, because I'm dealing with ELL students all of the time, I'm constantly checking in with them to make sure that they understand the language. Usually, I will have them do a sheet of vocabulary words and have them handwrite the definitions to make sure they are at least reading and writing the words once. Also, I make clear to them that the author usually has a specific point of view that sometimes is obvious from the beginning, but is more often made clear as they get further into the book. I will continually check in with them to make sure that what the author is trying to show is clear. I will then assess the students' recognition and understanding of the text by going right back to the work they did on the worksheet, asking them a question about Wolf and his preliminary study. I will also put something in there that makes them understand the meaning of the text in a different way, though with the same information. For instance, I'll ask them, what was the public health issue that Roseto did suffer from? By turning the answer around, it has to make them they have to think a little bit more. I use quotations from the book on the test to see if they can understand the words from context. I also try to give the students specific quotes to see if they can recognize the style of the writer and also recognize what it is that they are trying to convey through their writing. Overall, I find using the book outliers is a great way to get the students to attain mastery over this standard.